When did you start to see that WCW was having some real issues?
When we would be at we'd be at Nitro.
Yeah.
Okay. And literally me, Conan, Kidman, Benoit, so we would find a TV and we would be watching Raw. Okay. This Raw was just more, The Rock and Stone Cold was it was just like entertaining. And they were doing like kind of like cutting edge, and they were doing edgy stuff.
Yeah.
And we were still, it was, Hogan, Macho, Flair. It was still like, just like all of our, all those guys were still kind of on top. There was a glass ceiling. We called it we had what we called the top 12, like 12 stars. And we could go over let's actually go over.
Okay, so Hogan, Nash,
right,
Paul,
right,
Goldberg,
right, Piper.
Piper,
Macho,
Brett,
Page was in there.
Page, yeah, Sting,
Luger.
God,
there were two
Steiner,
no, Giant.
Okay,
yep. And maybe one more, but that was just like nobody in the mid card was working with any of those guys, except Page would. But Page had a lot of creative freedom because he was friends with Eric, so he would work with Canyon and stuff. But they weren't budging, and so it was just kind of frustrating to like the mid card guys when watching the other show. And they're doing Val Venus is out there. So you're just watching what they're doing.
Yeah, you're I'm a mid-card guy with a similar-ish gimmick.
So, right. I could, why can't we be like that show? They're integrating everybody.
Yeah, that was the great thing about WWF at that time. Everybody had a storyline. Right.
Everybody had a storyline.
Top of the card to the bottom of the card.
And then we were doing, basically, cold. We started doing because the creative was getting boring. When the creative started getting boring is when they started doing 2-segment matches. Like they would throw Booker T and Benoit out there, usually the TV matches were 6-7 minutes because we had so many characters. You had to put a bunch of guys on the show. We got interview times. The matches aren't that important. Let's just there's 6 or 7 minutes because all the guys are doing the same thing back then. Clothesline. So it wasn't as complicated as wrestling has gotten today. With things. But then they started bringing the luchadors in. Yeah, I was like, whoa,
that first hour of Nitro was badass.
Right. But then when the luchadors came in, everybody's like, oh, we gotta we gotta start learning to do what these guys are doing. Because we're gonna start working because the people are popping at this stuff and they're doing some pretty crazy stuff. We gotta start doing that, right? But the top guys wouldn't. They wouldn't work with them. So it was like we had our new thing with the luchadors, but it was just all mid card, and like the fans could see that. It's like these guys have been on TV for 5-6 years. Guys like me were really not elevated at anywhere from where we were like 3-4 years ago.